All right. Turn this up just a little bit. Get over here. All right, I think this is gonna be epic. So this is gonna be the first stream where I got everything kind of situated. And I'm just gonna see how it goes, you know? We're gonna be pretty chill about it and just kind of wait and see what happens here. So recording, sweet. I think I'm all set and ready here. Camera A. Camera A. Oh wait, camera C. Camera C. I just want to check and see if there's anything on camera C that's audio is playing. No, it looks like it's just that. Okay. Camera A. All right, here we go. I think it's the green screen's already on. And I think I'm gonna keep the me being a little bit faded thing. I think it has this like very atmospheric look, right? Like I'm like an apparition. Is that like a ghost? I think that sounds about right. But anyway, I'm gonna start again with another pottery video. We got all the cameras working today, so I'm just gonna get right into it. And I got 3 for you, and I'm gonna walk you through the process here. Anyway, camera C. Camera C. There we go. All right, wedging table. So I got the wedging table on that bottom. Also green off. We'll see if it is off later. Camera A. Camera A. Yeah, it's off. All right, camera C. Camera C. Okay. So I left these out for a little bit. And you can see they're a little bit dry now, right? It's like perfect, right? Because I'm gonna set some of the blocks in my little wet box here, my damp box, and that's gonna allow the moisture to get to that dry surface that's sort of drying out. And so that's why I leave them in big chunks, because I left those out for like 8 hours, and now they're like perfect in my mind. I'm almost thinking about it like the surface feels like a rubber tire, but if I was to push through, it'd be a little bit soft on the inside. I feel like that's kind of what I think about when I'm thinking about the hardness scale. Let's see. But, all right, yeah. Hello. I want to just wedge this up here. I'm going to turn this around. There we go. How does that look from your guys' point of view? Let me just tilt the camera towards me here. Yeah, let's see. Oh, I think this actually looks pretty cool. Okay, sweet. Just a couple different angles on these things, right? The one on the head is like auto exposing the image, so you can see it a little bit in a different way. And there's, I feel like, some more drama to the other camera below. But here I am, I'm just wedging this up here. I'm taking that hard stuff, I'm just doing some spiral wedging. And I'm not the best spiral wedger, but you don't need to be, as long as you're using the spiral to mix that clay, right? At this point, I'm not really worried about the air bubble thing or making it look nice. I just want to make sure I get the clay nice and equalized with its hardness, right? Pushing again. So that surface a little bit more, you know. So I'm just gonna work with that clay, kind of get it back to a nice workable level just by wedging, right? Rotate that around. Look at that. Sweet. So we got our chunks. This stuff, we'll wedge that later maybe. But we're gonna get into it. Nice. Yeah, I think that's kind of cool, right? Right? All right. So, camera A. Wheel. Oh. Ah. So look at that. So Green off. The green screen was still on. Interesting. Okay. Pushing this down. Oh. My wheel pedal feels a little bit wacky right now. And ever so slightly. Underneath. Oh, look at that. I didn't even attach it. Push this forward. Nice. Oh man, this looks so cool. I'm really pumped up about these two angles. I feel like these angles are different enough to show you my other hand kind of well. So I hope you guys kind of enjoy that other camera angle, because it took me a little bit to get it kind of set up like that. Right? Dang, I'm looking at it now. I probably could, on the height, I could raise that up probably a little bit, right? So that's a little bit unfortunate. I'll do that for the next one though. It's fun with the sky in the back. Thanks. I know, it kind of is kind of funny. Pushing my hand forward a little bit. I'm gonna slow down. Alright, and then pottery shelf. So you can kind of see the background there. Right, and so isn't that a cool image too? Your fit is working with it too. Just the colors. Oh yeah, the sky and my pants are like the same color as the sea. That's funny. Alright, camera B. I catch that little wobble, right? I just lowered that right hand. I'm allowing it to get center again. And I'm pushing down. And you saw how I brought I call this my chicken wing, on top of that clay there. Pushing it down right into this little claw I have over here. My crab claw, which is going to scoop that back up as I'm pushing it down. And it's that transfer between the two, one coming over and one coming up under. And right as those pass, that's what gets it right on center, right? And so then they pass, and then I go right back up. And now usually the base is nice and centered, so now I go back down over top. I don't have to fight as much wobble when you get to the bottom, right? Because it's getting that bottom center that's the real tricky part, right? I'm sure you've all were coning up clay at one point and you went to pull it down and it was centered all the way until you got to that bottom edge there, and then it just stopped being centered. Again. Missing. Alrighty. So I'm going to go down into the clay just a little bit here. Here I'll go to camera A. Camera A. Wheel. Alright. So maybe you can see what I'm doing at another angle here. Push that down ever so slightly. Open that up. Nice. A little bit of water on the interior here. Going right at that bottom there, right? And here I am on the interior, going out to the side, and I'm making sure I don't create an awkward fold, and I did create an awkward fold. Here. Camera C. Okay, so this maybe gives you a better look. What's going on the interior? So here I am bringing this out to this edge here. I think that looks nice, right? Trying to get that nice corner established on the interior, and once I get that corner established, then I'm going to push some of that clay down and try to unify that nice little ring here, right? And so then I can only focus on reducing ring to a wall rather than if there's different thicknesses, then I have to adjust for that, right? So I'd rather just have one ring on the bottom here. So then I grab that llama. Llama's gonna come down right over on top and slowly push that in, right? Camera A. And so, what the heck, where's that sponge? Drop it. I think it might be in here. I need to get more water anyway. Okay. If you saw where the sponge went, let me know in chat. Because I literally have no idea where this thing went. Whatever. That's so strange. Knuckle pull right at the bottom edge here. Stop fussing and spin already. That's so funny. But dude, I just don't know where that sponge went, man. Like, it literally just evaporated. Oh, there it is. Dude, is this it? Yeah, wow. I don't even remember setting it over. That's insane. The hunt for sponge hunt. For real. That was so irritating. I have it now. It's right over by my computer. Bring that up. I'll swap over to camera C. Camera C. And so you get to see this from this angle over here. What kind of sponge are you using? Just like it's like a shard off of a big sponge, you know? But yeah, it's like those classic big sponges that you see at studios. And it's just like I ripped like a small little shard off of it. Camera B. Right to that rim. Got pretty thin on that top rim, so I'm gonna be careful. Interesting. The new way that I have my headset on right now makes it feel like my hair is getting burned. Could you imagine that? That'd be terrible. Some people like to use the natural sponges, but not me. I don't think it's my vibe. I think they're good. Actually, I don't mind using them, but I feel like sometimes they almost get like gooey. Okay. Oh no. I messed that one up real bad. Dang. Whoopsies. Well, this might turn into something cool, so we don't know yet. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it thinned out it. Maybe it's going to do an automatic lower collapse because of that. That's kind of interesting. I don't think I could, like, like remember that enough to do that every time, right? But that is a cool happening. So it kind of does a double collapse there if you look, right? Collapse first inward and then twisted. So it kind of looks really pretty on the bottom. That's interesting. It only did that because when that bellied out on that bottom form there, when it was kind of like this shape like that, right? It was thinner here, so that's where that collapse is happening. Pretty interesting, guys, really. I feel like I gotta change. I know it's like a weird thing to think about, but you know, right now the back of my head is the thing that's transmitting the what's it called, the video from my head cam down, and it's going right through my head. And I just had the idea that, like, what if radio waves are like passing through my brain, like I'm etching the pixels into the brain or something. I know that's really strange, but it's kind of what it felt like. Okay, I think I might take this head cam off. I feel like we got enough footage with it. It's kind of hurting my head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I probably didn't need to do the 11th, but I felt like it was necessary at the end. Number 1. Alrighty. Is this over here? Alright, I'm gonna take my head cam off now, guys. Camera A. Computer. So you guys can see me while I do this. Yeah, we're just gonna turn the head cam off for now. Sometimes it just feels weird. I don't like that heat on the back of my head building up. I feel like I should wear a helmet instead of it just being right on my head. I'm going back to look up a Plum article for that. Oh, a medical article? Do you think that is a thing? I don't know. That kind of creeps me out. Maybe. I feel like I'd go down the rabbit hole and it'd scare the heck out of me. What program are you using to switch between cameras? I use OBS, right? So I have like a little like camera over here. So watch, I'll say pottery shelf. Pottery shelf. There we go. So you can see I have that on a gimbal. This is a webcam on a gimbal that I have the hotkeys hooked up to a program which takes words and phrases, and then I can change it. Basically, when I say a phrase, it says a keybind for the hotkeys that are in the program, right? So this one is through the program of the gimbal. So watch, wedging table, wedging table. There we go. So now you can see, you know, one of the camera angles. But if I say camera B, right, that's just the zoom in through OBS, zooming in, and I'm shooting at 4K so I don't lose picture quality, but it looks like it's zooming in when it's not really zooming in, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's what I use to do all the program stuff. But OBS, yeah. So I have like a little computer. I made a really budget computer. It's like super bare minimum, and it was like right around $500. I probably could have got it for less, right? Even than that, you know? So you can get a pretty budget to have it be its own separate thing. And so you can hook up everything, like this mic that's on my chest. This is hooked up to everything, right? To the computer through this little dongle here. That's also a wireless transmitter for audio. And so I hooked that up to that program. It's kind of cool. I feel like it'd be awesome to have, like, make a special outfit that contains all these things for me, right? Or like a suit. Like, what if somebody made me a demon suit that was like throwing, and they made out of like really easy, like washable stuff, and they had like little buckles for everything. And I just threw in my little demon suit. I feel like that'd actually be so cool. Alright, down at the bottom. Again, I pinch up. I'm coming down right on top of that clay. Making sure I'm not losing my wrist. You see how it's on that third here? It's over here on this third. There's the middle, and then there's this third over here. I'm not losing my wrist. I'm keeping my wrist there. Right? And that's what's going to allow me to really get that clay super on center. Might have split my brain a little bit, but thank you very much for explaining. Yeah, for sure, yo. I'm sure if you ever wanted to do, like, I don't know if you're wanting to do like what I'm doing, right? Just like throwing while streaming. But I would just look at like video game streamers and their setups, and I really just use that as a base for how I set my thing up. There's still a lot that I can improve on, obviously, but I think it was really more important about getting different modes of conveying information in a pottery video. That's what kind of inspired me to do this setup, right? But you could totally just look up like video game setups and they'd let you know a little bit more. You're going to survive the future. I hope so, yo. Like I think it would be cool too. Could you imagine one day if it like we could have a 3D scanned room, so it could scan me doing stuff on the wheel, and it scanned my hands, and maybe I'd wear a suit, and I could have a digital version of me throwing. And so then you could go into a program like in VR and then walk around me throwing, and so you could decide the angle in which you want to see what my hands are doing. You could even shrink yourself down, right? So you're really small. Oh, the demon outfit? Yeah, I thought that'd be really funny. But you could theoretically, you could shrink yourself down really small in VR and look at the inside of what my hand is doing, right? Or cut the pot in half and see that. Could you imagine how cool that would be? So we'll see how it goes, right? But I feel like there's the technology is already out there, you know. I think I just got to get like really good at what I'm doing now, and then soon I'll be able to, you know, access that sort of technology. Because I think it'd be amazing for educational purposes if you could literally just see every little, you know, you could pause right here where my hands are. You could pause it, right? Then you could take your little VR character and come all the way down here, cut the pot in half, and see exactly what my fingers are doing. I think that would be such an amazing progression in like the pottery field if you could get something like that done, right? And so I think it's kind of not even a lofty goal either. It's like tangible. I think I just need to like I said, just keep on making until I can get to that point. Let me right up on that pull there. In the meantime, me just doing this every day, right, first allows me to get more familiar with all this stuff. And then it also allows me to just get better at throwing, right? Learning things all the time. Right, you think that's wild? I think so. I really think it would be awesome. So it's getting super thin and starting to buckle there. But I'm going to still finish the pole. Transition to thin out that top rim. Curl that over. Nice. Okay. So here we go. Get in at the bottom here. And then maybe I'll switch that. Camera A. Camera A. Wheel. Okay. Be slow with it. And we're going to allow it to twist on itself for a little bit here. right? And if we even help it out, we'll stop our wheel for a second, hold that, and then we can brush our hands off, and we can hold that at this twist here, and then just slowly spin and allow it to twist itself up really nice and tight there. And then sort of push it to the middle, push it down, and then since it's all supporting itself now, maybe we'll have a better time opening this top up, right? That looks pretty cool, right? Camera B. So twisting that up really in an interesting way. Having an organic way, but sort of this one I, intervened a little bit more, right? Yeah, you like the new angle? Cool. That's awesome, yeah. All right, camera A. Pull this down here. Sweet. Opening up the bottom. Getting ready to grab this little ledge here. I'm not sure what we're gonna do. Part of me wants to do some tendrils, but I'm not sure if I have enough, but we'll do a poll and we'll see how much we have. Okay, there we go. Pop that up. This bottom rim here, I have my pinky right up underneath. I'm just slowly lifting this up. Thinning it out ever so slightly, not going too much, right? Because we don't want to mess it up from this point, right? Take that little wire tool, cut across that ledge, and open, right? And so we're going across, and we're spinning it as we're cutting towards it to elongate the tendrils that we're producing on the skirt of the pot here. So opening that up, again, pulling this through. Great. All right, taking this ledge here, curling this up, but not trying to force where it's going to go, as much seeing what that twist and that tendril allow you to do on the form, right? And so this is where the sculptural elements start to have or treat the form like a playground of sorts, right? That's kind of how I think about it, right? I have that pushed up right there. And so this is just one way to sort of use the form as a playground for other moments, right? And this is all happening with just one chunk. I'm not attaching these things, right? That's the exciting thing about these forms, in my opinion, is I'm not trying to attach things on afterwards. It's all internal, right? So I have some other ideas on how I could play with that I just haven't gotten around to yet, just because it would be a little bit more complex. But I just think that these just look so cool. There's so much, I really think these start to twist more onto sculpture. Somebody said that twist is cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. Going right down to the bottom here. Opening this up. Pulling that to the side. Great. Alright. Camera B. So here's that number 1. Or well, I guess this is number 2. But first one with tendrils at least. Looks pretty good. Alright, we'll set that down here. So, camera A. Pottery shelf. Alrighty, so there we go. Alright, so I'm going to start by getting this bottom kind of wet here. We'll swap over to the wheel for a second. So, wheel. Wheel. So you can see I'm bringing that off of the wheel, right? So then I can get all the water off of there. I've noticed that with plastic bats, if you have a lot of water, they don't want to stick. And so I take some of that off, and you can see how much I'm pushing down. I always think this is kind of like heart compressions on the clay. You know, you're trying to revive it, right? There's that one thing, it's where it's like, dun, 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 staying alive, dun, dun, right? That's how people are taught about doing the CPR or whatever. That's what you're going to do to your clay. right? Just so you get it down stuck enough. And then I'm just taking a finger here and I'm trying to seal this edge over here. So then there's not any water or anything that I can push maybe too hard in one area and it peels up, right? So now it's all attached all the way around. So now I can really push my body weight, projecting that weight from my elbow into my wrist, right? And then the palm of my hand is pushing that clay. So really being in control of that clay from the very start and not letting the clay push you, right? And then as I'm going up, you see how I pop my elbow off my leg, but I'm keeping it close to my body, so I'm still using my body weight, right? Never really doing my hand or my thing. Somebody said, laugh out loud, you're not wrong. I'm not sure. I can't remember what I was talking about for that comment. Again, right up to the bottom here. I take that up, push that in. Okay. Nice little wheel down. Okay. And then twist and start going down. I have a rip right at that base, right in the middle here. And so I'm trying to keep my hand right where it was tearing. That happens when the clay is just a little bit too short. That's okay. When you get to the bottom, then you're swapping and getting ready to then project that clay back upwards. There we go, right? Kind of keeping these moves fluid rather than having them segmented in our mind as like steps, right? Using it more as like tools, right? Or using it like a language, right? And trying to make poetry out of our movements. I think sometimes music in the background can help with that too. Again, pulling this out. Into the palm, great. Thumb's going right down into the middle there. Getting ready. Hooking my fingers. And I want to cut through that bottom layer. I don't want to push the clay because that's a lot of clay. But if you cut through it, it'll feel like butter, right? That's kind of the cool part about it. Again, my hand coming right over top, getting ready to pull this up. So here's that llama pull. And llamas, you know that llamas always love their volcanoes. So we're making this little volcano. Why are we doing the volcano, right? Because I have a tendency to make my tops too thick, right? So if I'm pulling a cylinder and I've brought this in and I do equal out these walls here, as I bring this top rim wider, it's going to get a little bit more thin, right? So then it helps me out personally that I don't ever have a top that's way too thick, right? So that's kind of my idea for that. And I also have some ideas on there being potential to make something almost as if it was like throwing off the hump, but a hollow hump, right? And so I was making flowers for a little bit off that little like top of the volcano there, but I haven't been doing those recently. There's just a lot of potential baked into some of the movements here that I like to maximize potential in a pot by using moves that do functional things, if that makes sense. Again, taking that edge, defining that, and just pulling that right up. Okay. Calling this up ever so slightly. We probably got one more pull out of this too. Camera B. Right to this bottom edge here, guys. Breathe. Pop that out. Really define that bump there. Focus on that bump. It's a little bit thin underneath. Do you see it's starting to buckle? So we're just trying to use as little tension as possible. So if we don't buckle that bottom, and we can still finish the pole here. And this is where those moments where keeping that rim thinner and making that volcano help out, right? Because the clay has a memory of being that narrow, so the top always feels like it's easier for me to control, right? That's the fun part about it, right? When the things that you do before start snowballing later on, you see that work that you put in earlier, right? You delayed your instant gratification, you got a reward from it, right? I like that sort of process being baked into the pots I'm making. There we go. Okay, pushing this down here. Here we go, we're gonna start up, slowing the wheel down, finding a rhythm. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to twist a little bit more in the center here, right? We're trying to keep that twist, and once we establish that twist, we might be able to pull out the top rim just a little bit more. So really twisting that up, shake that down just a little bit, right? We'll see how much room we have here. There we go, look at that, guys. Being very slow on that rim. Slowing that down ever so slightly. Pausing. Look at that. Right? So you can see it's ripping. It's so twisted, it starts ripping. Right? So cool, but we still got to pull out that top. Right? It really just looks so wild when I look at them. Okay. I'm going to pull this down ever so slightly. Camera A. Keeping my eye on it because these ones usually want to collapse and fall a certain way, right? Pulling this up ever so slightly. Getting that skirt kind of projected upwards. We're going to pull that out. And this might also be one where we get to do the tendrils, and if we're lucky, we might have enough clay to do 2 long tendrils. This has been a new discovery I've had recently with some of the tree forms here, where I only make 2 tendrils, so they stop functioning as a pattern, and they start feeling more like limbs. And so they've been kind of exciting, and I think there's a really nice gesture to the pot here. Keeping my eye on it because it's looking like it's wanting to fully fall. So just looking at it right now. I'm going to try to kind of twist this back in just a little bit. Just because we still want to keep some of that gesture, but we also want to make sure the pot doesn't fall apart at this point, right? And so this is where you kind of got to judge the pots as they go. Sometimes you want to let it be, right? But sometimes you want to just, guide it a little bit, right? And then if you mix those 2 different types, the ones that are guided and the ones that are feeling a little bit more like loose, right? You start not being able to tell the difference after a really long time of looking at them, right? And so then those loose moments start to look intentional. I think that's a really cool thing about making multiples. Kind of peeking this up there and have this curl out right on that top edge there. Look at that, bring that in ever so slightly, and then this up, and then this down here. I'm going to start this cut from up here. Sweet. Take this ledge up, twist that around. I we're also wanting this one to be up on this ledge here. Just trying to grasp on, reaching for that top edge. This almost looks like it's putting its own hat on or something. Camera B. I think this one is... I got two really good ones today, y'all. We'll see how they look when we get them all together on the same screen. And we'll do a little review of them. But look at this, man. Camera A. Alright. Like, look at that. Wedging table. Wedging table. There we go. Grab the one off the wedging table here. I guess we'll have this one kind of underneath, right? And off to the side, just a tad. I think I could probably turn this down just a little bit. I don't want to bug my neighbors, right? Bring this over here. Right, I think this one just looks so cool to me. I just really like this one. You can't really see the side though. How about that? Now you can see both the sides. Oh man, that pot just has so much personality in it. Like, and we'll talk about it in a second. All right, I can't get ahead of myself now. All right. Move this right over here. Man, look at that. Oh my gosh, look at that image. Pottery shelf. Man, that is such a vibe. Oh my gosh, guys. Look at that image right now. All right. Well, here we go. I'm going to get over there now. Wipe my hands off. Just a tad. Wow. Look at that, guys. Okay. Just a green screen over here. Let's get in the zone. Green on. Hello, everybody. It's me. I'm a little wispy in the legs today. I'm like kind of transparent, but I think that's cool. Anyway, we're going to start with our first pot here. I feel like this is the one that we did at the beginning of the day. There's a cool beginning collapse that leads up into the secondary collapse, but I just think it's a little bit mundane overall. I don't think I did anything too crazy on the bottom. I didn't leave enough to really make a cool tendril for that skirt. But then we got the hard hitter for the day. This one over here. Look at this one. I did a double tendril on this one. 2 arms, really giving it some personality. Looks like it's maybe putting a hat on or something. There's some real drama baked into that pot where it starts looking more like sculpture. In comparison to the top one here, which I also think is a great pot, but I think it's using the tendrils more as a pattern, and so it doesn't have that same voice as this pot does, right? And so that's something that I was noticing about the pots today. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. All the best, and strong mentality. Yeah, it's kind of like my army. It's so fun. But hey, thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. I gotta go edit now for like the next 3 hours. It's okay. Really enjoyed these pots today, man. Really look at that one. That one's starting to get a crack in the side of it too. It probably will collapse later, but we'll see how it looks. Anyway,